Robert, thanks very much. Well, it is officially called the Currency Reform and Fair Trade Act, but many in D.C. simply calling it the Punish China for its Weak Monetary Policy Act. Washington looking to flex some muscle with China in the latest round of back and forth between the two nations over China's currency value. The House is set to vote this afternoon on that bill, which essentially allows the U.S. to slap higher fees on goods from countries with currencies it feels are undervalued, most notably China. Many of you probably think China is playing games with its money and a weaker yen is hurting American jobs. Weaker yuan, excuse me. Your next guest says that's not the case. Benjamin Wei is the president and co-founder of New York Global Group. He's done plenty of business here and in China and joins us now. Americans are mad. A lot of Americans believe that China artificially depresses its currency, right? They've got the peg, they won't let it float freely, and that costs American jobs. What do you make of this bill that is now going through Congress?
Well, my view is pretty straightforward. Currency has people have different opinions towards currency value and what's the right value, what is due to jobs. I really do not believe currency is a major issue that has created such imbalance between U.S. and China trades.
Why not? I mean, if you got a cheaper currency, your exports are going to be cheaper for other nations to buy. And there's a view that because of that cheapness, we've lost manufacturing to China.
I can tell you, Brian, I have been to China for the last 20 years. Actually, I came from China. I run one of the largest Wall Street middle market advisory firms doing business with China. I've been to hundreds of Chinese factories. Each Chinese worker on average makes $350 US per month. That's about the price of a steak dinner in New York City. I'm not sure we want those jobs, pay $350 a month. What I truly believe American jobs should be greater value-added jobs, not necessarily for the quantity or the pricing that's being paid for the jobs.
Where do you think that the yuan would trade if it was free-floating?
I believe the yuan were to be free-floated, it would be trading just exactly where it is now.
Come on, you really believe that?
I'm a strong believer in that.
You don't think it would be 4 or 5 to 1, not 7+ to 1?
Absolutely not. Here's the reason. If the Chinese currency were appreciated additional 2%, according to a survey by Ministry of Commerce, which was done in the first quarter of 2010, China would lose a significant number of jobs. Tens of millions of people would have no jobs. What that means, Brian, China would have a revolution. I don't believe you and I want to have a revolution in China.
Well, there might be a revolution here if we keep losing jobs.
Well, I'm a strong believer that we should have value-added jobs. For example, a lot of the stuff that makes America great is because democracy, innovation, which create the companies like Intel, like Google, GE, so forth, those guys are having great paying jobs. That's what I think we as Americans want. We want a true value-added, good paying jobs that's based on innovation, not necessarily cheap labor.
The only reason I'm not being tougher on you is because we already lost in the 80s so many jobs to Mexico, and China actually stole a bunch of jobs from Mexico. And if the Chinese labor rates go up, what's going to happen? It will lose jobs to another nation. Have we got to get over, as Americans, this idea that all the manufacturing jobs we lost the last 30 years are going to come back? They're not, are they?
I agree with you, Brian.
They're going to go to Laos or Vietnam or Africa or Bangladesh.
I agree. Actually, the punishing China is really not necessarily a fix. It's a Band-Aid. It's like somebody having a cut in the finger, you got to put something on. It's a Band-Aid. It's not a solution. The long-term solution is generating good jobs in America, and people really have to have faith in this country. Prosperity in America is not going to go away for a long time.
It's going
to come back.
Then if that bill passes, it's going to tick off the Chinese.
Well, the Chinese are going to say, we don't like it.
What are they going to do? I mean, they just slapped a 105% tariff on poultry products from America, but what do you think they'll do if that passes?
I really believe that two countries have too much at stake together, economically, politically, anything we can talk about right now, the two largest economies in the world. When people have such strong ties, they just do not break for simple currency issues. There will be many issues going forward, but I tell you, I'm a strong believer in U.S.-China bilateral trade because benefit both great countries.
Benjamin Wei, Global Group President and co-founder, we appreciate it. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, Brian. Pleasure's all mine. 谢谢.
Okay. A bad day for Dallas Cowboys.